Hello everyone and welcome back to part 7 of this Python programming series. So far, we've learned what variables are, input functions, if statements, loops, lists, dictionaries. These are all important tools for building programs, but as they get bigger, our code starts getting more longer and complicated. To make this easier, we use something called functions. So functions helps us organize our code and avoid repeating ourselves. So let's start off with what is a function. A function is a block of code that performs a specific task. Let's see. Think of it like a button on a machine. When you press a button, the machine does something. In Python, it does the same thing. Okay, now let's start and create our first function. As you can see here, the def stands for define. It tells Python we're creating a function. The greet is the name of the function. The parentheses here are required. Always do that. And the colon tells Python that the function's code is about to start. Notice the indentation here. So this indentation means that everything indented belongs to the function. Now if I run the program, nothing happens. Why is that? Because creating a function does not run it. We have to call it. This is just a sitting duck waiting for it to be called, if you put it into an example. So in order to call it, we have to greet it, call the function name, which is greet, and always put the parentheses. And now the output should say hello. So Python jumps into the function, runs the code, and then continues. Keep in mind that you have to delete the indentation. If you do this, it won't run. Yeah. Okay, so why are functions useful? Let's say I want to print a welcome message 5 times. Without a function, I might do print 5 times, like copy paste this 5 times. This is kind of repetitive, but it still works, but it's time consuming. Instead, I can make a function or a for loop, as we learned last time. But if you do def welcome, print welcome, then we call it multiple times. Much cleaner. This is one of the biggest reasons programmers use functions. Okay, now we're gonna get to know what parameters are. Functions get even more useful when they can receive information. Take a look at this. Def greet, name inside the parentheses. Now we can say welcome name. So the name is inside the parentheses, and it's called a parameter. So a parameter is information the function expects to receive. Now let's call it. Go to here and press parentheses Nathan, for example. So the output would be welcome Nathan. So we could try another one. Bob. It's gonna have the same output but different names. The same function can work with different values. Let's say you want multiple parameters. Let's say, for example, here we have the introduce function, and think of name and age as variables but within the function. So we created 2 print statements, and make sure that the 2 variables have commas separated. And because 18 is an integer, you don't need the quotation marks. So the output will be the same but 2 sentences. My name is Rose, and I am 18 years old. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see here, the values get assigned from left to right. So far, our functions have only printed things, but functions can also give values back. This is done by using the return keyword. So create a new function called add, and what our goal is to make a simple calculator, specifically doing the plus operation. So add 2 parameters called a and b as the variable, and use the return keyword a plus b. plus operation means you're adding. And if you want to show it, we use the result, create a variable called result, and add the two parameters which will be set to 5 and 3. And print the result, and the answer should be 8, because 5 plus 3 is 8. So this function called the answer and calculated the answer and returned it. So a lot of beginners confuse these. Print function displays something on the screen, but return sends a value back. Think of it like this. As you can see here, the print equals show, return gives something back. Alright, now let's make a real example by having a simple score calculator. So start off by making a function called calculate score. And set the parameters to skills. Then return the parameter times 100. So our goal is that every time a player gets a kill, it times 100, and that's the score. Now let's make a variable to get the score itself. And so let's print the score. And because the kills will be 7 times 100 should be 700. So this is similar to what real games do behind the scenes, but 1,000 times more complicated. Alright, so today we've learned what functions are, how to create them, how to call them, what parameters are, and how to use multiple parameters, return values, the difference between print and return. Functions are one of the most important tools in programming because they help keep code organized and reusable. In the next lesson, we'll continue building our Python skills with another important programming concept. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 8.